So Proximius, if you haven't already turned off the UI in training mode, go ahead and pause and just turn that off real quick. UGK, I believe if you're buying on PC, there is a Rev 2 all-in-one on Steam that just doesn't have the optional DLCs. Woo! The zoning Gamma Blade wire, see. Hell yeah. Then you are in the right stream for that, my man. Woo! Ooh. Very optimistic burst. Also, yeah, shout outs to TSB. That's going on this Friday? Okay, cool. Thanks for the heads up, Edward. Team Stickbug out there holding it down for East Coast gear. Yeah, Gamma Blade is a fireball. You do not always get a combo off Gamma Blade. It kind of depends on screen positioning. But usually, yes, it's a tool that if you land, you'll get a confirm off of it. Ooh. Damn, shouts to Red Wolf out there giving some tech support. Thank you. Let's hope that works, Graffiti. Oh, drop the combo. Nice. Good. Yeah, that's really good. Woo! Oh no! Nice. Hey, the accidental 5D. Yo, what up, Attila? Welcome back. Been a while. Glad to see you. That's what's up. Woo! Damn, OTG Super. Let's go. Not a whole lot of damage there. Alright, Proximius. We'll make this round the last one. Ooh, nice. Oh, nice 6P. Alright. What up, Raise Rob? The lobby's going to start in about 15 minutes. So, Proximius, let's get you out of the lobby real quick. Graffiti, if you want to join up, it's your turn, baby. Proximius, good set, man. So I think if you went and watched that, you'd immediately find one thing to work on, and that's your air dash game, right? So Raven's Glide is a really powerful tool. Yeah, I feel you, man. Getting a one-on-one training session in front of we got about 40 people in stream at least. Like, yeah, that's gonna be nervous. I get it. So your glide was getting stuffed almost every single time, right? And there were a number of things that you could have done to make that better. One is just glide in less, right? Like, it's really powerful, but it's mostly powerful when I'm not expecting it, right? You can wire C needle, and the needle will cover a lot of the space that you need to glide in safely. You can glide and then do air scratch, and then what that will do, if you space it right, is it'll stuff a lot of my anti-air attempts, and at least put you out of harm's way, right? And you can just land, right? Which you did sometimes, and that was good, right? But you weren't doing any of that nearly as much as you needed to make me doubt the anti-air. And so almost every time you glided in, I was able to anti-air you. You don't want that, right? One of the things that you were doing that was good, as soon as you realized that I was, not as soon as, eventually you realized that I was stuffing your glides, and so you just run in and press buttons. That was excellent. Keeping up different approach vectors is super important, and I know it's hard for Raven in this matchup against Chip, because the place where Raven wants to be is the place where Chip can move the most freely, right? Like, Raven has a lot of great air-to-ground stuff, but Chip can move around so easily that it's not that intimidating compared to if I was playing as other characters, right? So I get it. But you definitely need to find different options to open up glide attacks as a viable thing, because you weren't doing any of that, and the problem was it meant that your offense is super predictable, and I just get the damage every single time, right? Like, a lot of shit opens up for Raven once you can start to make me worry a little bit more about having to block your offense after glide. But because you couldn't get that as a viable option, you weren't able to play the rest of the game. And so most of that game was just you getting shut down, and then like I'd pick up a hitter there to get some damage. But like, a lot of damage was just coming through because you're trying to glide, and you kept on trying it, and it kept on getting shut down. So you need to get those other options online, right? Wire C pin is good. Glide scratch is good. When you make me block stuff, like ending on going for a throw, going for command grab, ending on scratch, like those are all great options that make me worried about blocking stuff against Raven, even when you're like I'll push out a little bit. But you weren't really doing much of that, which meant that I could block pretty comfortably. I didn't need to worry about getting grabbed, and your approach vector was probably going to get shut down. So I think if you, like, my guess is that you probably don't feel that great about that set, and I would understand, don't get me wrong, but I think the problems are actually not that big. It starts with you just figuring out a couple more options to make my life harder when I'm trying to anti-air your glide, right? In general, if Chip is always catching you with 6P, it means you're being too predictable in your approach, because almost everyone should have tools that they can use in the air to make the 6P whiff, or fall short, or cross over, or whatever, right? But you weren't using any of those. So you need to find the other tools off of glide that will make it so that I have to respect him a little bit more, and I can't just mindlessly 6P all the time, and then we'll have a game going. But because you couldn't do that, you weren't able to play the rest of the game. But fortunately, that fix is pretty obvious, right? You just lab the shit for a little bit, you get used to using those other options, and you remember to use them, and you're fine. So yeah, good stuff. Thanks for coming through. Graffiti, let's get you in here now if you're